Sex, socialism, and sarcasm. Stick around. Look at that. Let me just tell you, Saturdays are rough, y'all. You know, if you want to have any other things done, and you know, welcome everybody. Say hello. I haven't even popped out chat or anything. Yeah, we don't do the big hello long list over here at CAW. You might get a intermittent hello, but you know, let me know if you really need a hello. And I don't know if I need different shampoo. Anyway, that's a different thing. That is a different thing. Make sure you have your chat set to live chat so you don't miss anything.
Thank you. I was getting ready to tap dance on the table.
Well, I mean that
I haven't had enough alcohol to do a real justified job for that.
You are here to entertain.
Absolutely.
But that
I'm not sure because I have on my
What do you have on?
Well-worn pajama pants.
Oh, you don't need to.
Yeah, they have holes probably where
air conditioned.
They're air conditioned. I'm getting lots of.
Well, we'll say hello to Mo, Sherry, and Judy.
Mo, Sherry, and Judy.
Yeah.
All right.
Some other folks here, but y'all gotta say hello in the chat so I know.
Yeah, we don't know that you're there unless you announce yourself.
If
you don't want to, you don't have to.
I'm gonna change up my
Okay. CAW, April 4th, 2026, just in case somebody didn't remember to put that, in the whatever.
In the whatever.
Okay, the question is, what's going on in the world right now that negatively impacts women especially? Of course, we're half the world there, folks. Actually, more than that because we live longer than men.
Is that the deal?
Yeah. And I just wrote, I thought it would be important, kind of as a starter offer.
Conversation starter, a little hors d'oeuvre.
Before we get straight to, And I, just correct. This woman is incredible.
I don't feel like she's either really one smart. Of us are really like, I mean, I don't. Well, I don't know about this subject. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay, well, the subject matter of the title is not what the book is about at all.
Maybe they just wanted men to
and other
pick it up.
Argument. It says why women have better sex under socialism and other arguments for economic independence. That's more what it's about. Economic independence. I will.
Amuse-bouche. Yes. Just little things to eat.
Oh.
Hors d'oeuvres. Amuse-bouche.
Okay. So, in Why Women Have Better Sex Under Socialism, acclaimed ethnographer Kristen Ghodsee argues that unregulated capitalism disproportionately harms women at work, at home, in government, and in the bedroom. Having spent years researching what happened to women in countries that transitioned from state socialism to capitalism, Ghodsee claims that by rejecting the bad and salvaging the good, we can adapt some socialistic ideas to the 21st century and improve our lives. This book is spirited, witty, and deeply researched exploration of why socialism, when done right, can lead to economic independence, better work-life balance, and yes, even better sex. It's becoming increasingly clear to women that capitalism isn't working for us, and Ghodsee is the informed, lively guide who can show us the way forward.
Hey, Karen.
Now, she is a professor of Russian and East European Studies at the University of Pennsylvania. Her 8 books on gender, socialism, and post-socialism in Eastern Europe have been translated into 19 languages.
Wow.
I just want you to know she's got the creds. I think, this book is brilliant because there's a lot of people that are buying this book for the title, and I don't know that they're necessarily going to be happy once they get into it. The reason that I purchased this book was because of Thom Hartmann on March the 25th.
Oh, yeah?
He talked about her.
Huh.
And
good old Thom.
Good old Thom. I love Thom. Mariah doesn't like Thom. Tom's a bit dry. And he isn't for everyone.
And for everybody. I need more of
I can put him on and I just kind of sit here and I will, take notes on what he's saying every now and then. But I can do other things and listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love Thom. I do love Thom. Okay, so we'll get to the book here in a minute. All right. The number one thing that I was concerned about, and thankfully it didn't pass. I think iterations of it are still
being batted around. Okay, are we done yet? Are we?
I know.
Me.
The Save Act. I love how they name these things.
How do we say
whatever is in the title is exactly the opposite. You can just count on that. Just count on it. One of the, if not the intent, and certainly as a result, was the voter ID qualifications, which would have required women to jump through legal hoops to show that they were indeed who they were, since the name on their birth certificate differed from that on present documents. I stopped changing my names, not my name on the
third
husband, because it was such a pain in the ass.
She kept the second one.
I should have just kept my
OG name
all the way through.
You should.
That's right.
I applaud this.
Okay.
I moved mine to the middle.
Here's another thing, and
I don't know if that counts.
And I'm going to, I will come back to this and tell you, because I've got the pages marked in here. I'm sorry I can't remember all this stuff just right off the top of my head.
I don't think anybody's expecting you to.
Oh, good.
And I've even noticed quite a few people, like legit people. They're like, hey, sorry, I don't have that thing, or we'll have it in the show notes, or.
And they have a whole bevy of people who are backing up their whatever they're going on about. Now, that's not entirely true, because one person I really like is, and I'll talk about her later, is Angela Parkrose.
Oh.
Permaculture.
She's stealing off people.
I'm stealing Mariah's people.
I do love some
All
Angela.
Right. The whole of the Epstein trafficking, girls, females, women, treating them as a commodity.
And supposedly even some young men. Which is very interesting that doesn't come up very often.
It doesn't come up very often. But
yeah.
Here's the thing. I think the men are less likely to come forward because there's that whole extra stigma attached to that business. And when the Catholic priests were abusing young boys, a lot of them were very reluctant to come forward and talk about that. Okay. It's a cultural thing. All right. The right-wing push for traditional women.
That's fantastic. So, Monroe, hey, Monroe, and your package arrived, by the way.
You didn't tell. I didn't know Monroe before.
Like it came just today.
Okay. But he got his.
Wonderful. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's really proud of Georgia. There were 15 anti-LGBTQ plus laws. Not one of them went through. Proud to be a Georgian.
All right. I really honestly.
The crazy thing is, like, Georgia, they're always doing very surprising things. I think they've just got, there's just a few little things that need to be sorted and they could really bloom.
I'm just, and things that are happening like Mississippi. The southern states are kind of like getting their act together. I applaud this.
Maybe.
Now, this traditional wife and woman thing, I've got some interesting things to read you in here. This is kind of funny. Don't let me forget, Mariah.
I will tell you. I've been very trad wifey today doing the laundry. But there's a lot of things that Brad does.
Your really nice husband toted your daughter around to her appointments.
See, there are things that he does that I want no part in. I don't mind the laundry. Like, I don't love it. It is actually one of my least favorite things to do. But, like, overall, I don't mind it. But Brad does a lot of cooking.
He certainly does.
And he's a better,
he's a lot better cook than she is. That's not true. Her cabbage, her curried cabbage is absolutely out of this world. And her deviled eggs, I've never eaten deviled eggs. Now, if you could live off of deviled eggs and cabbage with a sausage tossed in,
you're going to be very stinky.
Giggles and, yeah. All right, moving right along here. All right.
Yeah.
Trump's very obvious disdain for women by his use of language relating to the female body in a very objectifying manner. I'm not going to say those words because I don't know who's watching. And violence against women as the role model for our boys and men out there, you know? Saying that's okay because he got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or he has so far. I can't wait till I don't know if old men do very well in prison. Okay, a rumor.
Well, you can ask old Weinstein or, you know.
Weinstein?
The one that went in, and he said he got punched in the face, and I'm like,
oh, darn. It should have been lower. A rumor circulating. Now, here's a note. A rumor circulating throughout the military complex is that a black woman and a man up for promotion was discounted because Donald wouldn't want to be seen on stage with her.
Mm-hmm. So gross.
That has not been verified.
Did you watch Angela's thing about a coup?
I did not. I have not. I saw it, but I didn't have time. I had to write my notes.
She's a little doubtful on the whole cooing, but you know.
Cooing?
Cooing. Not whoo. Not that kind. Told you there's gonna be sarcasm, y'all. There's all kinds of ways.
Okay. All right. So here's another thing. Look at the females that Trump has put into places of seemingly important positions, and we know why he does that, because he thinks he can boss them around, and they're going to do what he wants to do.
Again,
and then
keeps getting away with it.
Dadgummit, some of those bitches don't go along, and they have to go. Yeah. I think here's the other thing about that. This works also to motivate the males who he then hires because they have to prove that they're more willing than the women that came before them to follow along.
Well, no, and here again, sycophants.
Oh, yeah, they come in both genders.
And the whole thing is none of these people would have the position if it weren't for him. This is not the meritocracy that they think that it is.
Oh, there's a meritocracy, but the rules for their meritocracy is that you're willing to.
It's not really merit.
Do whatever Donald says.
That's it. Yeah, and there we go. We're back to the sycophant business.
Okay, so I think that this is kind of interesting because being overmaster of a woman obviously satisfies some deep-seated mommy issues that Donald has because. In a more dangerous case of Donald Trump, edited by Bandy Lee, the one that I read you about, you know, the psychologists, and mental health professionals wrote, said both Bibi, I'm quoting here, had cold, distant, and infantilizing mothers. So I think he's still working that out.
Yeah.
Still working that out. Now, those are just some. Do you want to add anything to that, Mariah?
I think I added all the things that I wanted to.
As we were going along, now you were supposed to remind me. Okay, page 12 here. Now, I'm kind of jumping ahead. I had an order, but I don't even know why I say that because when we get ready to go
I just wish we could just, I like it when you throw them in and then have a conversation about it.
All right, so the whole Epstein trafficking thing. What she's talking about, let me just set this up here. Okay. What she's talking about is she's talking about the different countries that sort of transferred over to a different governing system with capitalism as their economic core. Yeah. These are the Eastern European countries. Okay. Prague is an epicenter of the European porn industry. This is after they were saved from communism, socialism. Human traffickers prowl the streets of Sofia, Bucharest, and Chisinau for hapless girls dreaming of a more prosperous life in the West. So capitalism has made that much more because they're bought and sold as a commodity. Yeah. Bought and sold. Okay, page 10 here. All right, this is interesting. Now, this is kind of a long read here, but you get it.
Buckle in, y'all.
Buckle down. Okay.
Stay hydrated.
After the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1898, in 1989, I'm dyslexic. 1989, new democratic governments rapidly privatized state assets and dismantled social safety nets. Men under these newly emerging capitalistic economies regained their natural, air quotes, roles as family patriarchs, and women were expected to return home as mothers and wives supported by their husbands. Across Eastern Europe, post-1989, nationalists argued that capitalist competition would relieve women of the notorious double burden and restore familial and societal harmony by allowing men to reassert their masculine authority as breadwinners. That's a plus. The men, suck that up. However, this meant that men could once again wield financial power over women. For instance, the renowned historian of sexuality, Dagmar Herzog, shared a conversation with several East German men in their late 40s in 2006. They told her that it was really annoying that East German women had so much sexual self-confidence and economic independence. Money was useless, they complained. You have to be interesting.
To work hard with my personality. I couldn't just show up.
And one revealed, I have much more power now as a man in unified Germany than I ever did in communist days. I did an interview after she went on the New York Times Why Women Have the book we're reading here. Did an interview with Doug Henwood on his radio show Behind the News. One listener, a 46-year-old woman born in the Soviet Union, emailed the show to say that I had nailed it in my discussion of romantic relationships in the old country, as she called it, but also the way men lorded over women with money here in the United States. I think that, we don't, it's just like a lot of the BS that we learn in our history books about the evils of communism and all that stuff. There were. But what we're not talking about here, we're not talking about, dang, where's that note?
Yeah.
I've got it here. I've got it here. Don't have to worry. I'm going to bring in old, what's her name? Angela.
Yeah.
Because she's a good one. Okay, so one of the things that happened when what's her name here? Oh, God. Kristen, or Ghodsee, started, and made this book. She told people what it was about, but their immediate response was, of course, Stalin. That if you talk about communism and the least bit of socialism, any kind of that's what they always bring up.
Yeah. And
it's just one of those things. And I thought it was so interesting that she says that in the book, and I will find that page and read it to you in a minute. But first, let's go to Angela's Parkrose Permaculture. And this was 03/31, so it was the end of March. Someone asked her, why don't you call yourself a socialist? She said, because the terminology is fraught, and I have in, brackets, with ugly words like Stalinism, communism, and I primarily identify as a permaculturist, anti-authoritarian.
People care, fair share, and
earth care. I wrote them down here. So what is a permaculturist? A person who designs and manages sustainable regenerative systems, such as gardens, farms, and community, by mimicking natural ecosystems. This attitude here,
I love it.
That's what's going to save the world.
Yes.
That's what we have to do. That's what we substitute for capitalism, y'all.
Yes.
Okay? And then I wrote down here, just as a little offshoot, because I read a lot of books. In societies where freedom is under threat, and I think we could all agree on that, an informed citizen is countercultural, and deep reading is an act of resistance. I believe that because I'm reading books that I don't agree with purposefully. But I love being able to see something through someone else's eyes because all of a sudden you start saying and questioning, oh, well, if, that was happening over there, what was going on over here that made those things kind of go together? And all of a sudden you start seeing all of these connections.
We love talking about connections.
We love talking about connections. Right. Up. I mean, totally up. Yeah. Okay, so let me get back to my book here.
Not just the red string kind of one.
Yeah. Although I really like that. And Mariah,
we want to roll you out a board. We need a pull down thing, and then that way
we do one of those map things like they used to have in the 6th grade classroom. Yeah. And I could put my map on it.
Roll it down.
And the teacher even had one of those little hooky things.
Yeah.
That should reach up and pull it down.
Yeah. Maybe we can work on that.
I think we should, Mariah. That's exactly what we need. I think Brad might even go for that.
Maybe.
It's making holes in the wall, and he's not big on that.
He's not big on that.
He's not big on. He insists on being involved when we do holes in the walls, and rightfully so. Because sometimes
he's also very helpful because he's taller than we are.
Yes.
When we were at the store the other day, one lady, we're in the aisle, and I could tell that she was kind of eyeing Brad because she was like looking up at the shelf and kind of eyeing whether she should ask or not, and then she did, which was great. I said he is handy to have around.
Handy as sliced bread.
Because she was shorter than I am. Poor lady at the store.
I know, it's like you need one of them.
You need the gripper
trash gripper things, just in a holster on your side. Yeah, short. Okay, so there were a lot of words I have to look up, and I always know I'm reading a good book when that happens. Ad hominem attacks. Y'all know what that means? Let me tell you what that means. They keep coming?
Something like that, right? Or
ad hominem, it means that you're attacking the person, not what they are not their ideas. You're attacking the integrity of the person rather than their thoughts and ideas. And it's a way that a lot of times, and it's an argument directed at a person rather than the position that they are maintaining. Okay? Now, here's another one. I didn't know what cisgender meant.
When that started coming around, I didn't understand it either. I was like, okay, well,
It's a person. A person's gender identification aligns with their genitalia. And this person continues to identify as a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that was interesting. Another
I don't know what
synonym for ad hominem.
But where does that come from?
I don't know. I didn't look that part up.
I could get.
I had to hurry because I was getting behind.
This is new information.
Okay, epistemic deplatforming. Epistemic just refers to knowledge. It's just another word, a reliable source or knowledge of said subject matter. And that's one of the things in here that I want to talk about because, and I know it's not just men that are doing this. I know that it's also women who do the same thing. And that's even sadder that, I think, we should hang together there.
A lot of times they do it to hold their proximity to power.
They do. They do.
It keeps them safe.
We do understand that. Okay, so let me just explain to you right away what.
Hello, everybody coming in. Do say hello in the chat. I don't usually hello everybody back, but thumbsy upsies. Like it, subscribe, share. Do all the YouTubey things.
Okay. What is okay? That's sorry. We're dealing with Roman numerals here, folks.
We both struggle with the Roman numerals.
Roman numerals. Okay,
we're not fans.
All right. And my glasses at the same time. Okay. this kind of hastens back to what the reason that Angela at Permacross didn't identify herself as a socialist.
Permaculture, yes.
Yeah. I will inevitably be accused of being an apologist for Stalinism. Vitriolic ad hominem attacks are the reality of our hyperpolarized political climate, and I find it quite ironic that those who claim to abhor totalitarianism have no trouble silencing speech or unleashing hysterical Twitter mobs. The German political theorist Rosa Luxemburg once said, "Freedom is always and exclusively freedom for the one who thinks differently." This book is about learning to think differently. With regard to the state, socialist past, our neoliberal capitalist present, and the path to our collective future. Okay, she refers to it as democratic socialism or a democratic socialist.
Like Zohran.
Okay, so just a minute here. Okay, XIX. And XIX is 11, I'm thinking. Okay. Okay.
XIX.
XIX. Oh, there we are. Sorry. The empirical evidence presented in this book has not been contradicted, and indeed, new evidence continues to emerge to further substantiate the arguments in this book. Okay, here's the deplatformed.
Mm-hmm.
In the literal sense, a person is deplatformed when they are refused access to venue where they wish to express controversial views. The term epistemic relates to knowledge, or in ways in which knowledge is validated, and how we know what we know. Y'all understand? What we know. Putting them together, a person has been epistemically deplatformed. Epistemically deplatformed if it is asserted that anything the person says about a particular subject is tainted. Okay, here it is.
We're trying to do that with Hassan Piker right now.
This is what she would say. A typical Goodreads comment in this vein might be, "Sex was better under socialism for a nut who never lived that. Despite my academic credentials, decades of experience, and the fact that I was married to a Bulgarian," I don't know if she still is. Was past
yeah,
tense.
what? That
and
was
still
what?
have many friends, colleagues, and family members in the region. I can have no authority on state socialism in Eastern Europe because I didn't, air quotes, live that. As if scholars of ancient Greece or medieval France have first-hand experience of the historical epochs they research. Okay, it goes on and on about that. Okay, and I read to you about the.
Oh, and did you see the do between Tim Miller and Sarah Longwell over on the Bulwark?
No,
They had to have a special little thing, and they kind of got into it. Made me a little uncomfortable. I was like, okay, y'all are like, okay. They were working it out in real time.
And sometimes it does make you.
It makes me a little uncomfortable because I was like, well, I was finally coming around on Sarah, and I was like, nope, see, this is the stuff. Like, it's deep in there. It bubbles up. And, then I'm like, she's doing the best she can. So, that's where I got with it. But, I think Tim has come further
from his original point of view.
Yeah. And, I find it so fascinating, the overlap of like, you know, the what is politically minded versus, you know, and I think this is where we're all struggling a bit from all this online information and people presenting themselves as, I don't know, there's a lot of folks that are like, hey, I'm not a, you know, I'm not an expert, I'm not a professor, I'm a not of this, a not of that. And so it is kind of hard when you're...
So you're talking about credibility.
Credibility, you know, we have all these people that have their takes and their ideas and their feelings, and then they build an audience. And, you know, and I like that Angela takes her position very seriously. She understands that even though she came onto this platform, or the, you know, various platforms, and her main goal was permaculture, but that overlapped and everything in our lives. And this is like when people kept saying to us to kind of stay in our lane, which was art, but it's like, but so much of this overlaps. This is our life. We drive on the roads. We get, you know, we're worried about not only then the business aspect of things, you know, the cost, the whole thing. And then we even struggle with that whole heaviness of it being so, you know, the capitalism of it. You know, we want the community to be people over profit. You know, but working within, and Angela struggles with it a lot too, talking about, you know, we're living in this system, so there is a certain amount of it that we have to participate in. Well, even other ways, you know, we need to, like, you know, figure out, like, I don't know, if you just buy land and get off the grid, and I don't, you know, I'm not really that interested in that. I like plumbing. Fan.
I
you know, like that.
Totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. But I think the whole, we're back to connections.
Yeah, we do. We watch, that's Angela. That's who we're talking about. Park Rose Permaculture. We love her. Yeah.
The thing,
yeah,
I like, and we've talked about this. What are your core values?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason that we can, Mariah says, well, you know, I saw Sarah and she was kind of going, you know, couldn't agree with that. But what we can agree with is she has identified her core values. We know that she is a conscientious, intelligent, knowledgeable person who believes in the good of people.
Yes.
We know that.
Yeah.
But now, you know, and the whole thing is...
But then she went real quick. She went real quick. To some kind of... And I said it was really deep in there. Because... So, see... All right, just to give you a quick... I don't think you've come across any of this information, or you know who he is or anything like that. Do you know who Hassan Piker is?
I've heard this name, but I don't know who it is. Because he's generating a lot of controversy. I do know
and
that.
He has, like, for a very long time. So that's not new to him, or new.
And I did know that Tim was saying, you know, I believe that we should listen to other people, even if their platform position is not the same as ours.
Yeah.
Because how are we going to know what they are thinking that's going to impact us?
Yeah, so I think the struggle really ultimately is, and where, you know, you have the politicians who, okay, well, do you go on these shows? Does that automatically say that
platforming people?
Yeah, where you are being platformed, where you're willing to go, like, okay, let's switch it up a little bit. Gavin Newsom. I tell you, I love and I hate him. Like,
yeah, I do too.
And it changes within the minute.
Yeah.
there's so many things that I dig about him, but then I'm also like, ugh, that's also the thing that he's almost just, he's that cookie you just know you don't need to eat. It's too sweet. It's going to make you sick. You want the cookie?
It's just, there's so many good things about it.
It's just, it looked right. It smelled great. You know it's going to taste great, but you're going to
have regrets later.
You're going to have regrets later.
I'm afraid that Gavin is that kind of, yeah.
He's the cookie.
And he's funny. I mean, he's just funny.
Just does so many other things, and I'm like, that's the politician-y stuff that people are sick of, and please stop doing it. And,
yes.
Ugh. But he's so wrapped up in it, and I don't think, like, once you've kind of swam in the soup for so long, I think it's real hard to...
Yeah. Get yourself out of the bowl.
Or I guess he's a chocolate chip cookie, and it's really hard to drop some of them chocolate chips. Like, once you're a chocolate chip cookie, that's what you are.
Yeah. You can't pick them out because they're part of the cookie.
They've melted in there.
They crumble when you pick them.
Now, walnuts, that's a different thing. You kind of pick around them, but it depends on how chunky the walnuts are. And then, then you ain't got no cookie left.
They don't melt into the dough. D-O.
See? So much. Okay. So, now, Gavin started his own podcast thing.
Okay. Now, can you get back to Tim and Saira?
Well, I know, but I didn't want to discuss the Sam Piker thing because that one gets real deep. My ultimate, I wanted to keep it a little higher surface. Here's the dealio.
So who is this dude? I want to know. I bet you. Raise your hand if you don't know who he is.
Yeah, let us know. All right.
That's a really bad name because, you know what pikers were back in the day when they surrounded the castle and they were the ones that had the
pointy things. Oh well, I don't know what his
kind of a poker, but piker. Special kind of poker.
Well, you know Cenk Uygur, right?
No. What does he say?
He wants me to focus then. Squirreling.
You're squirreling?
Squirreling. Okay. He is Cenk Uygur from TYT.
Oh, Cenk.
Cenk. Yeah, Cenk.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay. That's his nephew.
Oh.
They're related.
Well, but he's Arab.
Yes.
And definitely pro-Palestinian.
I believe Turkish to be exact.
I think you're absolutely right. And that's why they call it Turk, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then the cute blonde girl, Anna.
Yeah. Asparian, which she ends up like getting on all kinds of mess too.
I know, but you know, it's the whole thing about it is you're not going to like everything everybody says all the time.
This was Tim Miller's, to bring it back around, that was Tim Miller's whole feelings on, listen, Sam Piker is on every single day for 8+ hours a day.
Holy cow,
You're
really?
because he's like he came from Twitch, so he's a streamer. He used to do games and stuff, but mainly now he just does they just talk. If you talk for that long, you're going to say some stupid, terrible things.
Yeah. That's why we try to keep ours kind of short.
He has said some very stupid, terrible things, but ultimately speaking, and even when I can take, with Sarah Longwell, I'm like, I don't love everything that she says either. She has a little, there's just that old school stuff there.
Here's the thing. See this?
Mm-hmm.
You can use this. It's a most marvelous thing. Nobody's got you nailed to the chair. You're not changed.
All right, so then to go back to it, but Sarah's thing is she doesn't think politicians should be having anything to do with him because of some of the things he has said or done or who's it, what's it, blah, blah, blah. I don't agree with that. I'm on Tim's kind of side of things where I think all these people should have conversations. I think it should get weird and uncomfortable. I don't think that Gavin Newsom should go onto a podcast and then all of a sudden be like, oh, well, he's just so wishy-washy and he changes about things and you're like, ooh, that just makes me not trust you. I need you to hold firm in certain core
values.
It's not about that you have to keep and hold the situation. Your feelings and your morality should shine through more so and allow you then to be able to change your viewpoint on something. Because at a core, if you are keeping people care, fair share, and earth care in mind,
if that's your guiding principle,
if those are your guiding principles, that should be able to hold you firm in your belief system and allow people to present you new information. You go, wow, I kind of had that wrong, and you're right. If I really truly believe that if this is my core belief system, I need to sit well with being able to change my mind on this particular thing. So it's not being wishy-washy, but it's like holding true to.
Can I just interject 2 words that I think might help illuminate this concept?
Mm-hmm.
Your interpretive lens. If you use your core value as the way you look at everything, that's going to keep you grounded in what you really believe in.
Yeah.
You're not going to change every 15 minutes because those things that you truly believe in your heart of hearts is keeping you on track. Now,
Yeah.
I do think that if you have that, if you're very confident about who you are and what you stand for, it is so much easier to go out and listen to other viewpoints because you don't have to keep
absorbing all this other
and saying, oh, well, let's try this for a while. Let's try this for a while. But you can entertain a thought
without accepting it
as the real deal.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you for doing that, Mariah. I think sometimes I just assume that you're going to interpret everything just like I do. And
I'm pretty much assuming a lot of times you were not going to assume things or do that with me. Well, that's not true. Actually, I think at a base level, her and I really do. And I know how to have the conversation to say, hey, whoa, I think you may have that wrong. And she does the same thing with me. Because again, like we talked about last week, we're of different ages, obviously. It's my mom, her daughter. So there's that whole difference in just generational. There's, how much access we had to, like, she grew up out in the country. I used to go visit it every once in a while. I didn't live out there, nor did I want to. I had the small town experience, and I was like, no, thank you. But what's funny is even as I get older, I kind of think sometimes, like, we could be out in the... But I wouldn't want to do that to Izzy either, though.
Well, I think the thing about it is this generational thing, getting back to that.
Yeah.
The things that you have been exposed to in your life are so much different, just technology-wise, and that, and how you have absorbed those things, and that's your interpretive lens.
Yeah.
That's how you see things. And mine is more of you read about it, you look it up, you find facts that support your particular point of view, or you find out your particular point of view is bullshit, and then you adjust accordingly.
And I think that a big part of it too is that you're willing to go, yeah, I don't think I had that right.
You've got to have that as your backup, because I wrote it down here, and I never get it quite right, and I'm paraphrasing it.
She wrote it down.
I wrote it down. I have a little thing up here. It says,
I told her we needed to put some more things on the our card of knowledge.
Neil
deGrasse Tyson.
Neil
deGrasse Tyson.
Yes. And I'm paraphrasing. It says, I know enough to know there's a whole lot more to learn about.
Dunning-Kruger, y'all.
The people that you worry about are the people that are telling you that they know everything there is to know.
Yeah.
And they don't need to know anything else. And what they know is what you need to know. And that's the only way to do it.
And if they're digging things up off of the internet and going, oh, if only you knew what I knew. should scare you a little bit.
Yeah, that's
when she starts doing that, because she will do that. She will.
I will.
She is.
I will. But here's
you need somebody in your life going. Mm-mm.
And I didn't write it down, but just okay. Look up the other woman that I really like is help me out. She doesn't worry about her makeup or anything else. She's oh God.
Well, you got to give me more than just she doesn't worry about her makeup.
She's the one that everybody watches. Okay, what did?
Oh,
Heather Cox Richardson. Damn it, right here in front of me. Okay, so Heather, and I wanted to talk about this. Listen, I'm sorry.
Heather
I
Cox
am
Richardson, if
75 years old, and my brain isn't working quite as well as it used to. I'm not sure it ever worked that good on remembering just random things.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay, this would be an excellent one to watch if you are ever so anxious about what's going on. Because I don't know, I love her so much. And when she was on with Jon Stewart, which I really like Jon Stewart, I watch his
Jon Stewart
stuff all the time.
I want him to be president.
I do, and I want them to have a duo presidency. I want Jon Stewart and Heather Cox Richardson to be our president. I want them together.
To co-president?
Co-president.
I think maybe that would be better.
Because together they're awesome. Jon could take care of,
I mean, maybe that's what vice president's supposed to kind of do. I don't.
No,
really...
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't want either.
We
one
want
of them
co-president.
I don't co-president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, watch the show. Some takeaway points that I remember here.
And then Colbert and who could his co-vice president be? Because then you get.
I don't know. I'd have to think about.
Yeah, we'd have to think about that.
Yeah,
but it should be a woman.
It should be a woman. Oh, I've got her.
You got her?
I've got her. Oh, where is she? She's in my book. Just a minute. I just wrote her down. I watched her, and she's funny as hell.
She's in the book.
She's in the book.
In the binder.
Yeah. Something else that I want everybody to go and watch is the channel is called Buried Century. It's the last school teacher who taught original history. What she was told to stop saying. This is in 1901. These people started.
They've been doing it for a while, y'all.
They've been doing it for a while.
At it.
Anne Applebaum is another one that I think everybody should definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, where did I write her name down? Rebecca. She mostly does stuff over there where you have to pay for it. Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Her name's Rebecca.
Okay.
Anyway, so those we got it worked out.
But she's funny. She is funny.
I think that
she has funny. She changes her hair all the time. It's kind of that red kind of stuff.
Okay, here, 1 second.
Okay.
I think that it is extremely important for people to be funny. I think that I never found Trump to be funny. I found him to be gross and just like that dude that is from high school where you were like, ew. Cringy. And
that made
there was nothing.
And he was uncomfortable and awkward and you just like, nah, I don't want any of that.
Yeah. I never understood that. That's not the kind of funny, and it shouldn't be funny ever at someone else's expense. Yes. I don't like that humor. I don't even like, if y'all have never seen the movie Idiocracy, y'all should see that. But that slapstick humor, where people are getting hurt. I don't like that either. That really makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm just like, is that person okay? Sometimes every once in a while, they're like on a small scale, I get it. But I'm always more worried about the person than I find it funny. And I don't like pranks.
No, I don't either.
So yeah, I think that you should be witty. That takes skill.
I like ironic humor. That's why I like Jon Stewart, because he's very good at that.
And he has good facial expression stuff too, which I very much enjoy.
And he is the master at waiting. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. And just what his eyes are doing, his face speaks volumes. I mean, it's just I don't know how you get that. How you and it's a hard thing. Okay, now are we back to? Can I get back to my?
Get back to it.
Get back to it. Okay. This is a plan for hope, a plan to show up. That's my take on this thing with Jon Stewart and Heather Cox Richardson. You need to watch the whole show. Here's some things that I remembered about it after it was over. The moment, day, night before a total disaster. Pause. Look around. What's happening? Who's involved? What can be done? And what can I do to make all of this better? That's basically the upshot of what Heather Cox Richardson was talking to.
I like that she does that almost in every conversation she has. She gives some like, okay, yes, this is this is a terrible thing that's going on, but let's kind of talk through it. And now here we can take this information and know that this, and this are things that we can do. She usually has that kind of system.
The thing that she brought up here was the stock market crash of the 1930s and people who were committing suicide because they just thought it was all over. And they didn't have enough. She said, and the whole thing it wasn't the end. It didn't have to be the end. If they just waited for one more day. And that's what she says.
Yeah.
And, wait one more day. Just, hang in there, wait one. And she brings up FDR and the New Deal. And I want to talk more about that because I think that's back in the day when we actually, that our government was working for us. And Teddy Roosevelt breaking up the monopolies. You don't know the future. We can define and work toward a more people-directed, human, rather than corporations, concerned citizen system. And the thing that she says that we really need to focus on, we've got to deal with, is climate change. Because that's going to be it doesn't matter if if the world is being destroyed with the weather and all these things. Innovation and immigrants. If you look back at where people who made big changes in our way that we look at our life, I would say over 50% were immigrants.
Yes.
Okay. And looking for a vision that encompasses all of the people, not just the select few at the top. The whole system needs to change. The real will of the people needs to come forth and be manifested. We've got to do that. And we are the only thing that can.
And Angela talks about that a lot too.
Yeah, she does. And I think that's why I relate so much to her. And I wouldn't have ever done that if it hadn't been for Mariah. Her prediction is a leader will come forth and we will make it historic. It will be a historic moment. She cautions, choose carefully, be vigilant, read books, and question.
Question.
John said to Heather at the end of this thing, he said, "You helped me organize my anxiety." I thought
organize it, not get rid of it, but at least put it in the
put it in the categories that I can. Okay, I'm going to pick this one out today. I'm going to deal with this one today.
Put it in the right compartments.
And she said, "I help to show people where the ground is."
Yeah.
And if there's going to be one thing that you're going to do in your life that's going to have impact on other people, wow, I help to show people where the ground is. That is a direct quote. I would just write that down. I went back and looked at the
you liked it.
Transcript on the side to make sure I got it right.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's very important when you are bringing out ideas from someone else
Oh.
and sharing that with other people. I think that's really important. Okay, I did have.
That's right. And remember, we have Sophia was like, remember she sent us the ATCs about the read books and the reading, and we have more pieces of that too, don't we? That she sent? And she has. I know she has.
I might have them somewhere here. Okay. I've got a couple things here.
I don't read the books, but I watch a lot of the people that write the books.
And I read the books to her. When she comes up here at night and she's working over there.
She reads to me.
I read to her. I think that it's really important to know when you're reading books like this, books that sort of, because I feel a little, I'm from the 50s. We grew up with the communist scare.
Yeah.
And this is kind of hard for me to.
That's why everybody thinks. That's why Hassan Piker is very disturbing to people, because they think that he's a little too friendly towards Russia and to China.
Okay, Russia and China are not what we're talking about here. We're talking about democratic socialism, and that's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
that gets back to our permaculture thing here: earth care, people care, and fair share. Okay, yeah. We're not talking about autocratic oligarchs.
Oh, you haven't sent them? Oh, she has new ones for us.
Oh.
Okay.
Yay.
Very excited.
All right, so as a scholar and a teacher concerned with the material conditions of women's lives, I am making a small contribution to the current political discourse by trying, along with my academic journalistic colleagues around the world, to push back against the Cold War imagination that Westerners have of life in the 20th century state socialist countries of Eastern Europe. A more nuanced look at this history provides some ideas about what worked and what didn't work. And isn't that what we're all looking for? I mean, there are things about our particular, but I think there are so many things about our current political that aren't working.
And so many things that were just either like duct tape or just norms and things.
Well, we talk about that, and I talked about FDR, that. We also had the Great Society where LBJ, I didn't used to be a big fan of LBJ, but I think he did a lot of really good things that we didn't hear about, because human rights during that era progressed along, and he was at least concerned about people, not just because he kind of he was given a war that he didn't start.
Yeah,
he was given that, and that's what we associate him with, and I think that we need to look past that. But one of the things that we have to understand is we haven't always been an oligarchy.
No.
This is something that we've we've gone through periods.
Yes.
Where we did that. And I think we're back there in the 1920s. You have to understand that the whole Cold War thing, that's done. But we need to look at it from a different perspective. Okay. So, if the means of production inhered in the factories of 1920, they adhere in the robots, algorithms, artificial intelligence of 2020. The world has changed dramatically in the last 100 years, but the logics of capitalism, with its tendency to produce inequality, bigotry, violence, and war, remain the same. This is why Marxism still resonates with the people who bother to read the original text. I would dare say you probably don't even find those in the libraries in Texas. I doubt that you would.
Oh, we could go look.
We could.
Start some things.
Today, the rise of right-wing racist and xenophobic politics in countries as diverse as Hungary. They're having an election over there, and we sent JD over. Rah, rah.
Mm-hmm.
Do not fight fair when it comes to discussing the past. Countries such as Ukraine have literally outlawed versions of history that do not serve their national interests. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Journalists who say the wrong things about the country's shared past can be fined or imprisoned. Well, we're almost there. Well, they're trying. That's what they did with Don Lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And it talks about, all the situations in all the other countries where this is. I'm going to read this, and then I think that we're finished with it, unless you have any questions.
Question.
At the center of any socialist project is the value of human life and the desire of individuals to live with meaning and dignity, free of exploitation and oppression. Too often we are told that real political freedoms necessitate some form of economic exploitation.
Or someone else's oppression.
This is a lie. It is the bald-faced propaganda of those who gain from the idea that profits are more important than people. Another world is possible, and it is my sincere hope that this book inspires new ways of thinking about both the 20th century past and our 21st century future. We can and will do better. Kristen R. Ghodsee, September 2019, Philadelphia. This is a fun little book to read. I didn't, the only reason I got it was because of Thom, Hartmann. He just said, this is a fun little read, go out and get it. And the thing I love about it is she has all throughout here pictures of women in socialist states who actually did things that we wouldn't, and it starts with here, the first, she has Angela Davis in here too, which I love, but she's a, but here, Valentina Tereshkova, she was the first woman in space. Guess where she came from?
I think they were talking about that the other day, actually, because of the Artemis stuff. And you know what some people were saying? I won't kind of leave it on this, because he's such a narcissist, that some of the reason he's, doing the things that he's doing is because he doesn't want everybody talking about the space stuff.
What?
I know. But then I'm like, yeah, he's that little of a man. I believe that some of this acting out...
He doesn't want to talk about space stuff?
Well, the Artemis thing, and that, we're doing things that he's not necessarily involved in.
Oh, well, they didn't name the rocket after him?
Basically. It's not gold and
Pudnik. How about that, Pudnik?
It's not gold and gaudy.
Could have put a
shiny tip on it.
Knob on the end.
Little knob on the end.
That's why I said Pudnik.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. I just.
No, that was fun. I enjoyed
the latest book.
I enjoyed this conversation. And then I found a book. For whatever reason, it was down in the office. So.
Oh, and I want to talk about that book.
Well, next week.
Next week. Erasing History.
It applies.
Erasing History. It's a good one.
And just speaking of erasing history, I mean, they're even just in full on cover up in real time, because even Iran's like, hey, I don't know if y'all are getting the information or not, but I think more people, there have been more casualties and things that are like, nobody's talking about it.
I'm reading this also in between everything else.
Oh.
When I get tired of one book,
yeah, just to switch it up.
But I think this is really important because I don't really think we've been given the full story here, folks. And this is what I saw on a thing. It said, our civilization has been around for millennium, and you all were still in the caves, figuring out fire when we were writing books.
Yes, doing math
and, figuring out where the planets were and all that kind of, spacey stuff. Y'all were sitting around a fire going, ooh, how can we
to this one dude. And he's like, white people. Hey.
We've had so much smoke blown up our ass for so long that it's really hard, that warm, cozy feeling from all that. You're going, oh, no, I want to get away from that.
We're working on it, y'all.
We're working on it.
And doing our best here.
Doing our best. One book at a time.
One book at a time. If you have a recommendation, let us know. All right, guys. We're going to finish the CAW here because we've got some family things and this and that to do. Hug your friends.
Yeah.
Hug your family. Give them a call. Tell them you love them.
And even the one, it's kind of like the child in your classroom that doesn't always smell the very best or act the very nicest. Those are the ones that usually lead the most. So, hug your smelly relatives. And
she's our smelly one.
Yeah. And the ones that don't agree with you, go ahead, give them a little hug.
All right, we'll see you back on next Saturday. We will be over at PM Artist Studio tomorrow morning. See you then. Thanks for calling with us. Bye, guys.
Caw.